Welcome back, everyone, outside the Echo Chamber. Here we are live at the Charleston Gazette Mail Studios here with HD Media Productions. Hey, excited to have two guests with us today. President of the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce, Steve Roberts, and Vice President Brian Dayton. Welcome to the show.
Delegate, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's glad to be here. You know, you all represent, how many employers you represent now?
We've got nearly 5,000 employers within our membership all over the state, every county in West Virginia, and we're proud of them.
And we had session. We just finished up session, Brian. I know you were up there as government relations and everything, and we had a lot of bills that we accomplished this year. Overall, what was your take on the session?
It was a good session. We were very happy to see a lot of bills that we think are really going to improve West Virginia, make it easier to do business in the state, and help boost our workforce. So we give it a good grade.
You know, one bill, I think it was one of the top priorities, was Senate Bill 656, providing tax credit for certain corporations that have child care facilities. And we talked about this, Brian,
yes.
Earlier in the year. We talked about this. So tell me the posture of this bill and where it is right now, and it crossed the finish line, correct?
It crossed the finish line at a little after 9 p.m. on the final night of session. So not much time to spare, but it is now pending before the governor. We are actively having our members sign on to a letter urging his signature. But this is a good bill that we believe is going to help boost workforce participation in West Virginia. Child care, obviously, is a big impediment to many people who may want to work. So that's where this bill came from, and it will give a 50% credit for an employer who wants to start a daycare facility. And that credit would go towards the building, construction, furniture, first-year operating costs. So it's a very generous credit, really designed to encourage employers to put a child care facility for their employees at the workplace.
And Steve, is there that many corporations with 500 employees or more that you think might take advantage of this, or have you heard from them? Or
you know, we have good news on this because some of those larger employers have said to us, you know, this really could make a difference. This is something we might really take advantage of. And I'll tell you what I think is one of the biggest endorsements for this. And by the way, thank you for all the legislative support for this idea. But we've had national input on this. We've had people call us from other parts of the country saying, you know, we think West Virginia has really come up with an innovative idea here. We don't know yet whether this will work, but if it does work, then we're on to something. And we sort of created it here in West Virginia. The U.S. Chamber told me they thought this was one of the best bills that they have seen in the country.
So we're the pioneers in this.
So we've pioneered this.
Okay.
So we're actually very, very happy and very appreciative to the legislators for supporting it in such a big way.
I'm curious as well too to see how it works. You know, because it's affordable daycare, and main thing was getting employees back to work.
Yes.
You know, and that was the biggest complaint I think we've heard. Is that correct? Getting people back to work.
We always like it when we can come up with bipartisan solutions, and this is one that people on both sides of the aisle supported really in very big numbers, overwhelmingly.
What about with our larger population, like in rural? You know, what would this do, Brian? Have you talked about some of the rural communities are out there? I mean, how will this affect them?
Well, you know, what we wanted to do with this bill is we recognize that there are only about 117 employers that have more than 500 employees. So when we crafted this bill, we did it in a way that would allow multiple employers in close proximity to join together. So think your businesses on Main Street or all of your businesses that are located in an office building. We wanted to make sure there was a way for them to team together to take advantage of this. So we went into it with a mind that, you know, you can't do a one-size-fits-all for the country, but what's unique to West Virginia? And we think this bill accomplishes that.
So we have, you know, that's great that we're leading, we're pioneers, you know, and it's good, and I appreciate all the work the Chamber does in that. And we're kind of unique because we don't have a lot of the larger cities, you know, like the other states do. So I'm anxious to see how this works and proud to see that get across the finish line. So the governor hasn't signed it, or he's getting ready to sign it?
He has not signed it yet. Okay. It's one of the many bills pending on his desk, so we're encouraging his signature.
Hey, another bill that we took off the ban on nuclear energy. That was something I know the Chamber was supportive of as well. But I mean, what do you think the true impact of that to West Virginia means? Steve?
You know, let me start with West Virginia is an energy producing and exporting state. In fact, we're the 5th largest energy producing state in the nation. And we have long had a point of view that we need it all. We're good with renewables. We're good with nuclear. Of course, we support coal and natural gas because we have so much coal and natural gas in West Virginia. But the fact is that as we go farther into the 21st century, we're going to need more energy sources. We're seeing this in real time in Eastern Europe. We saw a number of the European countries go away from their energy production, and now they're in a bad place because of the natural gas pipeline issue from Russia. So we think that embracing the future, getting ready for the future that is to come, is what makes sense for us in West Virginia. We want to maintain our dominance as an energy producing and exporting state, but we do not see really any threat from other energy sources.
Is there a timeline or prospects? I know this is kind of a timely process. Is that correct? When you think about this, it's a 5 to 10 year process. Is it?
We actually don't know. I think it is safe speculation to say this could. We may be talking about this 5, 10 years from now, or who knows how far out. But what we've done anyway is take our name off of the list of places where you can't do something.
Hey, Brian, you know, another bill that we watched was House Bill 4002, Certified Site and Development Readiness. Right. Talk about real importance of site readiness when we're competing with those other states.
Well, this was a great bill that we were happy to see get moving. You know, as Secretary Carmichael and his team are out pitching West Virginia to different businesses, it's absolutely critical for them to be able to say, and here's what the business you have, and here are the different sites across West Virginia that are ready-made for you to be in place. So we thought that was a fantastic bill from that standpoint, is making sure we have that tool in the toolbox. So it's been something we've talked about at the Chamber for as long as I've been there, and that's been about a decade now. So we were very happy to see this continue moving forward. Again, broad bipartisan support for this concept.
And Steve, as you know, there's so many choices they have out there where they locate their facilities, and you know we have flat land and we have a ready and able place for them to build. That always helps.
I don't want to miss the opportunity to put in a commercial for West Virginia, because you know West Virginia is the place where we can give you all the energy you need, whether it's electricity, natural gas, or whatever. We can give you all the water we need. We overlook the fact that we have more fresh water in West Virginia than any place else in the Southeast. We can give you the #1 most loyal workforce in the country. That's a measurable matter. West Virginians are the #1 most loyal workers in the country. And then great proximity to major market. You add all those things up, and West Virginia is a great place to be. There, I got to say.
There you go. You got your soundbite in. Hey, you know, another bill, Senate Bill 650. It's usually a controversial bill. That's the one that reduced the number of royalty owners when it comes to pooling with natural gas. Why was this so important to get across the finish line? And it seems like we've been working on this piece of legislation for years, Steve or Brian. Brian, go ahead. You know, why was this so important, and why was that needed? And you know, the other side is there still had some no votes out there on people that might be infringing upon their properties.
Well, you know, again, just to go back, watching real time the situation in Ukraine, it is underlying the importance of energy in West Virginia. What this bill will do is make it easier for, if you have multiple owners on the same tract of mineral rights property, to come to a consensus and say, yes, we want to develop that. Prior to this bill, there was a provision in there that you could only do that if there were 7 or more royalty owners on a piece of property. This takes it away and simply just leaves it to you have to have 75% of the ownership in agreement. We believe that's fair. It protects the rights of the property owners. But again, that bill deals with a single piece of property that is owned by multiple people. So it gets rid of an arbitrary provision that was put in there a few years ago and takes it just to a 75% rule.
And it seemed like this year was one year had a lot of different parties and entities working together around the table and made different concessions to kind of appease certain groups, so to speak, for lack of better words. Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's kind of the theme, and it's kind of a good segue to my last question. I can't let you let you off the hook without leaving our topic of the day has been this gas tax. And about 22 other states are considering doing something to ease the burden at the pump. Right. You represent a lot of people, a lot of employers, of all sizes. One of the arguments is, you know, convenience stores or whatever, people going across county lines into other states where taxes might have been reduced. You know, what's your take? Do you have any thought, or I mean, should our state come back and work together and try to come up with some way to ease the burden at the pump?
You know, our thought on this is we're seeing an evolving issue, and it's very interesting to me that the issue's been put on the table. Why don't we roll back the gas tax? Of course, Governor Hogan did it in Maryland. We're starting to see it in some of the states that surround us. On the other hand, everybody wants to drive on good, safe roads, and the gas tax supports our good, safe roads. So we're not dodging the issue, but we're taking a little more time to study it and think it through. We typically have been proponents for lower, flatter taxes, but we're also big proponents for infrastructure. So I know it sounds like we're saying it's 6 of one and half dozen the other. The fact is it may be 6 of one and half dozen the other. I know you had a previous guest who pointed out we're going to pay in one form or another. On the other hand, of course, we'd like to see drivers get some relief. Now, our point of view would be that one way to bring down the price of natural gas is to drill for more of it and ship more of it. And as a nation, we can't give up our preeminence as an energy-producing country.
Yeah, I think it's an all-inclusive type approach. I think there's a lot of things. There's a short-term fix and a long-term fix. And a lot of the states who are proposing this, they've been blessed with budget surpluses. So to hit your point is, I think we are blessed as one of those states that has a budget surplus this year. And I don't think anyone wants to drive on an unmaintained road. So they would probably I think it costs to do it. It costs anywhere from $30 to $35 million per month for 30 days. So that would have to be backfilled. Obviously, nobody wants to see that. So, well, thanks for weighing in on that. That's the topic of the day, and I don't think that topic is going away for a while. So,
right.
Unfortunately, with the conflict going on, we hope it comes to an end soon. But, hey, Brian, it was great having you on the show earlier in the year and being with us. And Steve, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for all you do here.
Great to see you.
Welcome back. I'm sure we'll see you again soon.